I want to talk a little bit about writing practice and invite you to join me in my Louis Gart studio or on Zoom. Larry's practicing his guitar in the other room. Writing practice is the same way, like soccer or sports or any kind of music that you want to play. You have to do it regularly. You have to practice. For writing, it's about putting words on paper. So when we gather, we have a few rules. Number one is that we agree to write whatever comes to mind for a certain period of time. This is not about thinking. This is not about trying to be clever or write an awesome story. It's simply capturing what's going through our mind, putting words on paper. We throw out a word or a phrase to get us started. The idea is that we already know how we write when we write the way we do. We have a routine and we pretty much go from that point. Writing practice throws out a word or a phrase. It could be wind chimes. And the idea is that as soon as you start writing, where does the phrase wind chimes take you? And put it down. You don't even have to write about wind chimes. You don't have to say the word. But whatever thoughts are going through your mind, that's what you want to put down. Keep your hand moving for the amount of time we agree. Frequently that's 10, 15 minutes, sometimes longer. Then after we've written, we agree that we will read our work. So in some ways this is the riskiest point, but then to be a writer is risky. We create a safe space for you to write in. The writing is really not meant to be shared with others after class. So we read the words we put on paper. Those of us who are listening are simply going to give recall. We're not going to say, oh, that was awesome, or that was really, really great. We just want to say back what words or phrases. So in many ways, the exercise, the writing practice, reveals to us that we are heard without judgment. So the way writing happens is that you commit to show up. Make a commitment to show up on Zoom every Sunday morning at 10:30 or every Wednesday afternoon in my studio at noon. If you want to develop your work further, then we can do that. But ultimately, to write means we need material to work from. Just like a potter needs clay, a painter needs paint, we need words. So let's get those words on paper. This is writing practice from January 16th, 2022 with Lisa and Kevin. The word is culinary. We were supposed to have a poetry reading this Sunday. In its own way, it would have been culinary, and for sure, there would have been many geniuses reading their poetry. And of course, the music Larry played would have been both. I rescheduled for February 20th, weather permitting. Cafe Louis Gart is in the making. I anticipate Marco and Michael will get into the decor with lights and glitter flashing. I will focus on the poets, musicians, and performance artists. I may dig into my repertoire and bring out some of my old performance pieces, like the Rebel piece I wrote about my mother, and Grandmother Growth about menopause. My mother did rebel, pursued her culinary skills instead. She never considered herself a genius or very smart, but she was good at listening and had several one-liners. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it and just clean one room at a time. And she always put a good meal on the table. My dad expected it, and we kids counted on it. She listened to our wants, his first and foremost, then ours. No sense in cooking something no one was going to eat. I call that culinary genius. She rebelled after her father whipped her and all her brothers and sisters for not hoeing fast enough one hot summer afternoon in the cotton fields in Texas. She threw down her hoe, marched back across the rows into the house, telling her mother, Stella, also a stern, rebellious woman, that she was never going in that field again. And when her dad followed her into the house hollering, "You get back in that house," Stella, my mom's mom, stood up for her. And to Tom, her husband, my mom's father, my mom said she was not going into that field again. Tom pushed Stella up against the wall and started shaking her and shaking her. My mom picked up a kitchen chair and hit him with it. And that was the beginning of my mom's rebellion. The creation of her home, her kingdom, and she settled for that, took care of it. She let me know 50 years later when I came to visit that she didn't need me coming to tell her. In order to be liberated, she had to rebel and stop shaving under her arms. You can email me or message me if you want to join our group sometime.